Okay, this video is on the interesting topic, existentialism. What makes this topic interesting is that maybe we really don't know what existentialism is. Uh, Actually, it's an interpretation, I think, in our own minds. There's four individuals here that did a great deal of work on existentialism. Rollo May in the text worked on or used existentialism as his form of theory of personality. And these four individuals, Kierkegaard, Dostoevsky, Nietzsche, and Sartre, were all focused on existentialism. Maybe they all didn't agree. Right now, I'll say this, that one of the big drawbacks of existentialism is that it really doesn't acknowledge God. And yet you can look at it in both ways. It can acknowledge God, but it may omit God. But having that aspect out of the way, where you can focus on it however you want, I do believe that there are some excellent points in existentialism. Existentialism was first thought of or used in our text as far as the theorists are concerned by the neo-Freudian Erich Fromm, who decided to go with Sigmund Freud's theory of the unconscious, or Karl Marx's theory that the individuals were developed through a social system based on economics. So, Erich Fromm also believed somewhat in existentialism. And I think to a large part, if we look at many of these theories, even though they do not come out and say the word existentialism, they still have employed some of the principles of existentialism in their theories. Now, it became popular in the 21st century, and it has been developed in different aspects since then. Now, there is a key phrase: existence precedes essence. Now, there's quite a few different interpretations of this. But one interpretation is, let's just imagine that we're going to design a hammer, a regular hammer, one that you pound with type hammer. Okay. We would think about the hammer, and then we would, after thinking about it and after planning it, then we would make the hammer exist by the construction of the hammer. And I could have used any object, but I'm just using the hammer. What existentialism would say is the hammer exists in the head, in the mind, and then through essence, the hammer is made better. So the difference is, one way we think about it, that is the essence, and then we make it exist. Existentialism says it already exists, and then we're going to make it better. Now, this is an important component, and I think it's just plainly common sense. I don't want to get very mythical or read something in the stars, because that's not the way it is. What it says is that each and every one of us struggle with life, we have consequences with life, and we are responsible. It's kind of interesting because there's some existentialists that said, hey, there shouldn't be any laws. There shouldn't be any ethics. There shouldn't be any rules, but individuals should be responsible. Now, the human has a free will. It's just what I've said about this course. I want everyone to succeed. But if you say, no, I don't want to succeed, you have every right not to succeed. And if you don't succeed, you cannot blame others. This is what existentialism says. That we are responsible for our own actions. We are responsible for our struggles in life, because really struggles in life, going back to even what Freud said, that one of the main important aspects of life was to strive. Well, existentialism says practically the same thing. I'm not going to make this mythical. I'm going to bring this down to earth where it belongs. So we're each responsible. No excuses. No excuses. You know, sometimes we hear individuals, well, I can't do this, I can't do that because of this and because of that. No excuses. And there may not always be a second chance. And again, I'm going to re-emphasize that part of the concern with existentialism is that God may or may not exist. And I think this is common sense. This is common sense. If you want God to exist, fine. He will exist. Can you believe in existentialism or follow existentialism principles and believe in God? Yes. But maybe God does not exist. Maybe you're an individual that says, no, I don't believe that God does exist. Can you still believe in existential principle? Yes. Yeah. The main point with existentialism is that we are a being in this world, and as a being in this world, we develop our own essence, which is our own way of life, our own struggles, consequences, and victories and successes. We are ultimately responsible for self. I think it's a theory with a lot of good points in it. And certainly there's more to it than this, because each individual has a slightly different interpretation of existentialism. But anyway, that's existentialism. Hope all is going well. We're getting closer and closer and closer to the ending time. Hope all is ready and prepared and develop the essence of this course so it can be a success. And remember, like I said before, we want to be ready for Firecracker Day and picnics. So until the next video, we'll see ya.